Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Real Housewives of Potomac reunion review. This is part 3. I don't know if I saw everything because I watched the bootleg version of this on YouTube. Because tomorrow's a long day for me, and I'm only going to have an opportunity to watch and do one review because y'all know I see this on Peacock. So I'm doing this based off of what I saw on YouTube with the bootleg version, with the music playing in the background and all that other stuff. But I believe it was the whole thing. If there's something that I forget to mention, put it down below. Stacey, I don't know if I believe you, sis. Do you guys believe Stacey? Put that down. If you normally watch this and you don't comment, comment for me if you believe Stacey, yes or no, because I'm not sure. Greg is going to lose his ever-loving mind because I don't think he hit the stage. Mia, to me, went out like a chump. You can't talk about people's kids. You can't be so opinionated about people's marriages and then get upset for someone saying, Giselle, that you're a bad parent. She wasn't talking about your children. She was talking about you. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode. So the episode began with Andy pointing out that he invited TJ to come, but Stacey didn't want him to come. Stacey says, we're not together anymore, so I don't feel like he needed to come. But I'm confused because Stacey, you said moments earlier that that was your best friend. So if he's still your best friend, then I think it wouldn't be a problem for him to come. What aren't you telling us? How deep was this conversation with your family? Because something's not adding up for me. That's when Wendy lets us know what the message was, what her moment was, which I feel like they really, really amplified it anyways. So the message that she got was from Eddie, and it said that he was FaceTiming TJ, and while FaceTiming TJ, that he said that he's not coming because Stacey paid him to be on the show. She told him not to come, and she owes him money. Key is like, I said it. I said that that's what happened. I said that's what it was. You got all the other ladies chiming in. And Stacey's like, I don't believe that. I do not believe what you're saying, Wendy. I do not believe that TJ would say that. Wendy says, it's on tape. So they're going to roll the tapes, like roll the tapes. So you hear Andy asking, because he has his earpiece in, asking the control room if they do in fact have it on camera. And he's talking, and while he's talking, he's like, they're making it up. They are making it up. I don't believe that. They are making it up. So this is going on while Mia is taking off her clothes, trying to hurry up and get out, crying, saying that she's leaving. She's crying, but I don't really see a whole bunch of tears. So Stacey is still acting like Wendy pulled this information out of the sky while Andy is getting confirmation, and they get really excited, the ladies do at one point, because they think that they're about to see this tape. So Stacey's like, I want to see the tape. I don't believe you. I don't know if Eddie is telling the truth. I want to see. I don't believe that TJ would do that. I don't believe that he would do that. And he's like, I'm talking to the control room, and the control room says that they do have it on tape, but right now they are using that camera for Mia. They're following Mia right now. So she's like, just, show me the tape. Show me the tape. Wendy says, you're in the rears, like, you need to pay up, and they're going to run that tape on you, Stacey. Wendy's commentary was cracking me up. Wendy, I need you to stop saying that you're friends with Stacey. You're not friends with Stacey. And I think that you're going to take what Giselle said to heart. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little, issue with you and Stacey later on. But they start saying, bring Eddie out, bring Eddie out, bring Eddie out. Eddie comes out. I love when chocolate skin is in white, especially dressed up white. It looks so beautiful. So he comes out looking nice. He sits next to his wife, and he's in first chair. He says, Andy's like, fill us in. What happened? And he's like, oh, I get first chair. I said, Eddie, you better show up and give them something to film. So he's like, I spoke with TJ. TJ said he wasn't invited and that he will never be in DC again. So you can tell that Eddie's not trying to get too much in it, because he's not saying verbatim what was said. He's kind of being a little like, Eddie, just spill it, right? So he's like, and that someone owes him money. So Stacy says, well, who's that? And Eddie says, it's you. He's like, he said that she, pays him to be here. And he says, I called him, not trying to start no mess. I just called him, because me and Greg were there and we were wondering, where he was at and why he wasn't there. And he sounded upset, and he basically said like he's tired of the narrative that kind of acts like, he's a flamboyant person. He doesn't like the narrative that was being painted on him. There are heterosexual males. TJ, you can't be upset with the narrative that was presented because you gave them the material to work with. So you were the one that was having issues being by yourself. And you were the one who often seemed like you were acting, much like Stacy did at times. Their relationship, as we all have said, never truly seemed like it had a lot of chemistry in it to me and to a lot of you all. So TJ, it's your fault the way that you were portrayed. You gave them the material. So Stacy's like, I just don't understand, I don't understand at like what capacity he would feel like I owe him money. Like, I don't get that. So Andy's like, okay, well, maybe did you ever like tell him you would pay him for like his flight or something like that with him coming back and forth or something? She's like, no, I had no reason to pay him. Part of me questions whether it's true, because I can see her sometimes offering something because he's an actor that didn't seem like, I don't know. I'm not familiar with his work, but it just, something about them never seemed right to me. So I don't know what to believe. I went back and forth on whether or not it was truthful, because if it wasn't, Stacy is the master of being stoic under pressure, because if you lied on me, I would have not been nearly as calm as Stacy was. So she's like, I just don't believe that he said it, I just don't believe it. So she's like, I just think, that maybe TJ is doing this, because, we did just break up and it was because of me, because of the things that I saw on TV and, things of that nature. So, maybe it's just that he's hurt. And she says, she just didn't think he would do that. Not this Christian man. She was like, what I would like is I would like for him, if he really feels this way, for him to say those things to my face. And they're like, okay, well, go ahead and call him right now. Stacey's like, earlier they even said it and she didn't want to. So Wendy's like, this is a perfect time to call him right now. Like, call him so you could, figure this out or fix it or speak your truth or whatever. So she's like, she doesn't want to call him. And when she said she didn't want to call him, that part of me is where I started feeling like maybe Stacy's lying. Because I would have been the first person calling you and being like, why are you lying on me? Like, there would have been some type of exchange like that. The ladies aren't buying it. Wendy lets her know, look, I'm telling you as a friend, if you come back to this group and you don't clear this up, nobody's going to believe what you have to say when it comes to this situation, because right now is the opportunity for you to clear it up and you're not clearing it up. And she's like, it's fine. You all can think whatever it is that you want to think, but I'm not calling him. I am not calling him. So Control brings the video out on the phone for her to hear and see. Everybody wants to see it, but Andy's like, let's let her see it first. So Andy goes and sits beside her to play the video. She is sitting there as he's talking. This is what I'm saying about Stacy, how I struggle with reading her, because this man is sitting here and he's talking about how he don't want to come back to DC and all these other things. And you're sitting there smiling, like adjusting your hair, acting like you're a Miss Universe or Miss USA contestant. In the message, he says, I'm not coming back to DC. And you're like, this is your best friend. That's what you said. This is your best friend saying that he's not ever coming back to DC. Then he goes, she paid me to do the show. Tell her to give me my money. She's whack. Like, that's the whole thing. Is he probably putting 20 on 10? Probably. But Stacy's reaction is what has me confused. And I know there are some people who aren't combative. There are some people who aren't argumentative. But listening to Stacy's excuses, I think if Stacy really, really wanted to, Stacy could hold her own. She's an intelligent woman. So I'm not quite understanding her not really defending herself. So Stacy sees all of that and hears all of that. And she's like, this is hurtful, and that's all I can say. I just can't imagine him doing that. And I think Giselle is all of us when she's like, ma'am. Like, ma'am, really? You can't imagine him doing it? He just did it. She's like, I just can't believe like a man of God would behave this way. I just I just don't, Wendy's like, okay, you can say all that, but I just want to make it clear that my husband didn't lie. And Giselle's like, Wendy, it's not about you right now, which is true. But I chuckle because that's right, Wendy, stand by your man. It's not too many husbands left on this Real Housewives show. So let's hold down the one that's, oh my goodness. It's literally only one. Yeah, one husband. Because who knows what Gordon and Mia got going on. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So bottom line is she claims she doesn't pay him. She says hurt people hurt people. And Kierna's like, look, this is BS and you got to stop it. You got to stop it. So Stacy says, you all had all these doubts about TJ and you all talked so poorly of him. And now when it's a little salacious for you, or you feel like you're going to say something to me to hurt me, now you are literally believing this man over me and you know me. And Andy's like, wait a second. I thought you were going to say that the ladies were right. I didn't think you were going to say that. So Wendy's like, it's odd that you're trying to flip this on us because we tried to help you. Like 10 minutes ago, we tried to help you, which they showed was like 27 minutes or something. She's like, we tried to help you. And now you sitting here and you're doing that. She said, now they pulled the phone out on your butt and you look crazy. So Andy's like, are you going to have anything? Like, are you going to say anything? And she goes, yes, absolutely. I will be calling him with my attorney. And the ladies are like, all right. Enough of that Stacy stuff. So we get on Karen. Since Amia left, I'm guessing we went back to Karen, or it was the plan all along to go back to Karen. We get a flashback of all the things that Karen said and did during this season, with Karen saying that she can't talk about her case, with Ashley giving her the Uber cards, with Karen saying she wants to know who's riding for her, with her saying she wants to tell her truth. And Andy reads a viewer's question, right? Wanting to know if the ladies have seen instances and if they feel like there's a drinking problem. So the overall consensus is that yes, Karen does have a drinking problem, that she uses drinking to cope. And Wendy wants to say something, but she chooses not. She's like, I'm not going to say it, just to later say it anyway. So they feel like she was deflecting. Jacqueline says, Mia did throw me under the bus when I was just trying to, say something out of concern, but she made it seem like I was being malicious, like I said it in a malicious manner, and that wasn't. It was out of concern. I do think that it was a combo of both. I think that you knew that it was going to turn into something else, and I do think in the beginning you were concerned, but it switched. So Giselle points out that one of the reasons, Jacqueline, why Karen couldn't say anything to you about what was going on is because of her court case. It was ongoing. So Wendy says, yeah, I would agree with that. But there were other reasons, like Karen's case kept going on because of Karen, because Karen is the one who kept pushing it back, right? So they talk to Jacqueline about the 8 balloons for the 8 citations and all those other things. And at first she tries to act like it wasn't shady, but then she's like, okay, it was shady. It started off as shady, but then I did feel differently about it. I don't buy that. I think you meant it to stay shady, especially because she talked about your children's father's previous, charges. Kierna says that overall for her, she's sad that Karen couldn't tell her the truth, that she thought that they were closer than that, and that she has spoke to Karen in private saying that she could get her help through Greg because Greg has, like, I guess, I don't know if he has a treatment center or whatever, but he has access to people that could help her. One thing about Kierna is going to plug her husband, not her husband, her fiance. Oh, not her fiance. She's going to plug her boyfriend business at times more than she does hers. She got to do something since he didn't come out on this show and he could have been touring the city this entire time. So Ashley begins speaking about how Karen had awful legal counsel because why would they advise her to go to a public trial despite having the footage and knowing what the footage looked like? And I think that they never advised her to do that. I do not think that those attorneys advised her to go to a public trial. I think that Karen doesn't listen, and I think that she didn't listen to them because she lives in this bubble of being able to get off on things. I think that Karen thought she's more famous than she is, and she would get out of this. So Stacey starts talking about how she, probably didn't see it until they saw it. And Wendy says, no, weeks before the whole situation, her counsel was trying to get the footage suppressed. We know she was. We even heard it on the show. So they saw it. Giselle says, from what I understand, and I did not get this from any attorneys, but I heard that she pushed it, that she did not want to make a deal, that she was offered a deal twice, one of them being 6 months house arrest and another one being like 60 days jail time, but she thought she would win. And as a result of that, she didn't want to let it go. They showed the video way back when it came to Michael Darby of Karen saying clank, 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 because she kept saying that was going to happen when it came to Michael. But, Michael was a Caucasian man who had a substantial amount of money and got away with his crimes. Maybe it will catch up with him later in life. I don't know. That's what I'm alleging. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm just saying that's what my thoughts are on it. Let me make that clear. So Ashley says, a journalist messaged me and said that, Karen had another person possibly in that car with her. And they play a clip back of her saying that she wasn't driving. I don't know if I believe it just because Karen said a whole bunch of stuff on that footage. I showed y'all a little bit of the body cam footage and encourage you to go watch the full 30 minutes if you wanted to. Karen was talking out the side of her neck. So whether or not she was alone, I don't know. Either way, she took the charge and nobody was on the scene other than Ray, right? So we get footage. This footage did not help the situation. This footage shows how Karen is still full of crap. We get footage of December 27th, the day before Karen left for rehab. I'm telling you all now, I don't believe a word of this conversation. It seems very full of sugar honey iced tea because you cannot make me believe that Karen did not watch those tapes. You cannot make me believe that she didn't film this as a way to try to clean up her image. But in doing so, I still found her trying to make excuses and still not fully owning what it was that she did. So she's all done up for this footage. Wasn't expecting that. It's the day before your rehab. I don't want her to look defeated, but I just like for you to get a glam squad for this. Show us you. Show us the raw you. I'm not saying come on the show wigless, but show us a calmer version of you. Like she was all the way done up. She had so much eyeshadow on. I couldn't even see the whole thing because the video is so skewed for copyright when you're watching on YouTube. But she was laid across the bed what are we doing here while Ray sits in the recliner and he's helping you try to cover things up? Karen, your husband's too old to keep lying for you. You decided to pay his tax debt. Great. Don't keep holding it to him and then having him do these scenes where he's making himself look just as dumb as you are. So, as I said, she's all done up in the footage, claiming that she didn't watch the tapes. Ray, I didn't watch the tapes. The first time I saw them, Ray, was, in the courtroom. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to watch these tapes. And she's like, you know what? I didn't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you now. I didn't tell you this, but I've been self-medicating, for like 7 years. I know you know that I was taking, the antidepressants, since mom passed, but it was for 7 years. I started 7 years ago. Ray's reaction to that was too calm. Not saying what you're saying isn't true, but you've already had this conversation. So you say, I know you didn't know. And his reaction, no, you've had this discussion off camera. You told him what y'all were going to talk about. And then she was over here trying to clean up like things to make us know, because there was Stella in the car. So she's like, I went to a friend's, and I opened a Stella beer, but I didn't really like the way that the beer tasted. So, I started drinking champagne, and, I started drinking champagne, and then I forgot that not only did I take more medication than normal, but I kind of doubled up on that medication. And Ray, that's the reason that, I have a driver. I have a driver for a reason. Like, yeah, that's why I got you. I told you to get a driver. Everybody's talking about Blue Eyes and how Blue Eyes is this person that you possibly cheated with, when really I hired him to be a driver for you. I hired him to be a driver for you because of that DUI that you got like 12 years ago. What does that have to do with anything? Why are we talking about Blue Eyes and a DUI from 12 years ago when she sat here trying to act like this wasn't a DUI? And even now when she's talking, she's trying to blame it more on the medication than she is the drink. So she's like, I'm not going away because it's court ordered. I'm going away for me. It's excuse after excuse in that scene, in my opinion. As they're watching it, you hear Giselle say, y'all can turn this off. This is a mess. She says it's no accountability. Scrap it and take it out. And I think she was right, because it doesn't make her look any better. It makes her look worse. But guess what? She's already been sentenced and she needs to do the year. If you haven't watched my tape, that's what I said in my tape. I think that she deserves that and more. You don't get 4 DUIs and think that you're going to get probation. Serve that year. Don't even put her in anything cushy. Make her go to a regular people jail, because a lot of people don't know her like she thinks they do. So Andy's like, I think she's trying to take, responsibility. She says some things in that video that, has her taking responsibility. And Ashley's like, it's performative. And I agree with Ashley. It is. It was very performative. Even the way she was laid across the bed, it was very, very performative. Ashley says, I met a guy on the train while I was on my way here, and he said that he used to work at this place and Karen was there every day. At that moment, I wrote, Ashley always has some information or some tea to spill about everybody else on this cast, with the exception of herself. I want to know what Ashley is going to have to talk about next season without Karen being there, because Ashley gives us nothing. We saw the same scene with Ashley and her kids on the counter, I don't know how many different times this season, and throwing this birthday party and that birthday party and this celebration and this Mother's Day, and we're going to do. What else does Ashley have? Because G&A ain't doing nothing. So what else do you have? She says she was doing all of that prior to her parents passing. Wendy then says that she heard things as well. So I said, okay, maybe Ashley isn't lying. But either way, Ashley still don't give us nothing. So she says, I was told by other people that there's a certain establishment that she goes to every day and she drinks there. She does a lot of drinking there. Stacy still doesn't think that she watched the tape. Giselle says, look, there's a lot of things, because the question is asked, like, how she'll be in jail. And Giselle's like, there's a lot of things that, you can't do in jail. Like, you can't wear a wig in jail. And Karen going at that age, going at 60 something, that's a problem. Key hopes that she gets home monitoring. As I said before, no, she deserves to do it. Lock her butt up. Lock her butt up. Locked up. Don't let her out. Don't let her out. She needs to do the full year. You already suspended a year. Make her do the full year. Don't make her do 6 months. Make her do the full year. Andy wraps it up and says that overall, he's enjoyed Wendy and Giselle. Kieran may get her ring. Stacy, this was a good first season and reunion for her. Stacy's like, I lost my best friend tonight, but you know, I shall rise and be all right. They're like, oh no, still I rise, not Maya Angelou. So he's like, speaking of Maya's, let's talk about Mia leaving. And Giselle says, I think it's whack that she left. That, we've all been, held to the fire at times and we didn't leave. Like, she not only left, but she left the building. Ashley says that, she stood on business all season. And then when she comes here, it's different. Wendy says that's what I was saying too. Like, I feel it's rather convenient that you watch how you look this whole time. And now when you get here, you try to, change it up a little bit. She also points out that she clocked Mia first season. The guys don't come out at all. That's it. If there's something that I missed, because as I said, this was the bootleg version via YouTube that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. Overall, this season was blah. It had a couple of moments. I feel like it fell flat though because they put too much stock in Wendy and Karen, and Mia and Karen, and neither one of them really delivered. You all let me know what you thought. Like the video as it helps the channel. I do plan on reviewing Atlanta. I don't know how I'm feeling about it because I don't know. I'm going to go into it with an open mind. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyways, thank you guys so much. It's been a great season with you all. Until next time.